Okay, so I want to tell a quick story, and actually, this says do document, delegate, and it should say automate. Okay, so I want to tell you a story about your everyday process of execution that involves deploying one of four strategies. All right, either or and. So one is you just do something. Two is you just delegate it. Three is you just automate it. Or two, which is what I'm doing now, is you do it and you document it. Okay. So let me give you an example of what I mean. Yesterday, I posted, or 2 days ago, I posted a video for one of my intern slash analysts. And in the midst of doing it, I said, I bet somebody else could benefit that. So I simply used the trusted screenpal.com video tool and I turned on the record button. Okay. So this is a story about how I'm going to present to you a workflow and a process for automating the extraction of workflows and the visualization of workflows that will help you delegate. Okay? So, how did the story get started? The way the story got started is that I realized that without making this video too convoluted, one of the distribution channels, I typically view 9 core distribution channels. Comment below if you want me to go in detail about those another day. I typically visualize 9 core distribution channels, and one of those distribution channels is ads. And so, in the course of me researching best practices, as I often do, I came across a brilliant workflow automation sequence by a colleague in the industry that I wanted to use, iterate, and have be part of some of my own best practice in-house training. Okay? So what I did was the following. Step one is, in the course of my regular daily, weekly reading, I found this great video, which basically was a demonstration video, which was an SOP. All right. Then what I did is I took the video and I watched the video. And after I watched it, I used ChatGPT to extract the transcript. Right. And then once I had the transcript, I used AI, ChatGPT, to run an analysis of the transcript. Now, typically, whenever I run analysis of a transcript, there are 7 core machine learning, unstructured, unsupervised machine learning, and supervised machine learning analyses that I go through. But without getting too convoluted, the main one that I was interested in is called workflow extraction. All right. So after I analyzed it, I took the output of the prompt and then I used a chat GPT tool to, well, let me just back up. I did an analysis of the transcript, and then I turned the analysis, which was just regular plain chat GPT text, into a table, right? The way you do it is just whenever you're doing your typical chat GPT workflows, you just use the phrase output in a table. And if you really want to get cute, you say output in a table, first column is a number of each step. All right. So what that's going to do is give you very clearly defined structured data that then you can use for the next step, which is using a ChatGPT plugin and turning that visualization literally into what you're seeing here. So what I'm trying to get you to understand is that all of this just came from a simple video, right? In fact, if you want to do it yourself, all you can do is take my video, right? Get the transcript of it, literally run the same play, everybody. Step one, take the video that you're watching here or any of my other videos, right? Step two is you input that video into ChatGPT, which is going to run an analysis, right? After you run analysis, you tell it to output it in a more structured data format, meaning a table with a numbers for each step in the process. All right. Then you take that table and then you use a Chat GPT visualization plugin. All right. One of them is whimsical. Another one is called Diagram Show Me. And then you ask it to turn the output of the table into a visualization, and it'll give you several. You can extract the one that you want, all right, and play with it, all right. So that's literally step 9. But where you really want to add value is, I said, okay, this is my own proprietary IP. I want you to name the process. So what you're literally looking at is something called content insight visualization workflow, TIN, right? And the thing is that you can get fancy with giving it a particular prompt on how you name it. However you do it, the whole point is that it's about innovation. Very few people are going to go from watching a video, there are millions on YouTube, to analyzing what's in the video, to extracting the actual workflow of the video in a step-by-step format, to visualizing it, to now you have a process for doing what I just described to you, right? So the whole point is that this visualization that you're looking at can literally be given to whoever you need to delegate to. And that's why I start off by saying your options are that you can do, all right? You can do and delegate, which is even better. But I'm sorry, you can do and document. And then to delegate, because it's most people try to delegate by just having a live conversation, but that ends up creating twice the work, because every time you want to delegate, if you don't have documentation in place, you have to do the work of explaining to someone. And oftentimes what ends up happening is that people say, well, it's just easier for me to do it. So you get stuck in this do loop, versus the first time you do something, if you maybe add 50% more workflow the first time, then the second time, third time, one to end, let's say you do this process once a week. Well, you do this once and it takes 50% extra time, but then the next 51 times, because you're doing it once a week for a whole year, 52 weeks, then you can delegate it, all right? And the beauty is that once you have the right documentation, that gets you a step further to be able to give written instructions to machines, which is basically the hallmark of being able to do effective automation. That's automation by way of autonomous AI agents, automation by way of no-code or low-code tools like Zapier or Make, etc. So again, all of this is, by the way, I use ChatGPT4. You'll need it if you want to use a plugin. But I want to encourage you not just to watch a video, but the way to really extract the most value out of any piece of how-to material is to extract the workflow, okay, document it, and then use that workflow in a visualized method that's easy for people to see. And that the visualization helps you to do it more efficiently, but more importantly, this can be given and delegated to any number of people, right? The same 10 steps, okay? So I hope this adds some value. By all means, you can do this with your own processes. You can do it with any best practices that you find. Simple tools that I use were just YouTube video platforms that we all have access to. A transcript tool, you have the option of using Whisper like ChatGPT provides, or you can use the transcript function from a YouTube video, right? You have access to ChatGPT4, simple to upgrade, a whole host of visualization plugins, okay? The real value add here is that you have to play with a unique set of prompts that will give you a version of this workflow that is unique to your organization. But just by following the step-by-step that I described to you, which is find a video that really outlines a clear standard operating procedure, all right? Watch the video just so you get the gist of it, okay? Extract the transcript. Either you get it from the functionality that's present on YouTube, or you can just go to any of the free tools online that can provide a transcript from a YouTube video, okay? Next, you analyze that transcript using ChatGPT, but if you wanted to use Gemini or Bard, you could do that as well. In fact, if you wanted to get fancy, you could double up and use the different LLMs, right? and provide each analysis from each LLM, from ChatGPT, from Gemini, from Claude. And if you wanted to get cute, you could use Pi AI, right? And you would feed all of the output to your tool of choice, and then ask it to summarize the processes into a step-by-step output with a table. All right. And then you would use that table in another prompt using a ChatGPT plugin. All right. Diagram, mind map, whatever kind of visualization you want, workflow. All right. That produces a visualization. And then for buy-in, you want to give it a very clearly defined name, so that when you store this in internally and you're looking for it, if I ever want to redo the process of visualizing the workflow, hello, instead of thinking it up, just use the generative AI capabilities of ChatGPT, have it give the process a name, and then the next time you need it done, you have documentation that you can use for delegation, and ultimately you can use it for automation too. So this is Shola. I hope you find this valuable. If you want a copy of this graphic, then just let me know and I'll just dump a link to it. The reason why I ask you to ask for it first is because I don't need to make extra work for myself. So if you don't need it, fine, no worries. I hope you hope what you're looking at adds value. If you need it, just let me know and I will follow up and offer it to you. Okay? Any process that you do, think about it. If you just take one of your own internal processes a week for a whole year, that's 52 internal processes that you can use and share with your audience to build two things: thought leadership, but to also build a database of documented processes that you can use for your own team. Take care.